Sometimes life throws us into the kind of chaos that makes us question everything we thought we knew about ourselves. I remember standing in that diner, just a busgirl struggling to make ends meet, arms aching, heart pounding, and feeling utterly invisible, a ghost in my own life. Then came the fire. Smoke filled the air thick and suffocating, while a small crowd gathered, all eyes glued to the building as I watched a little girl, like my sister, trapped behind those flames, desperately calling for help. They used to say I wasn't cut out for anything bigger than cleaning tables. I believed it for a long time. The whispers cut deep, each one a reminder of my own shortcomings, my fears painting a hopeless picture. But as I stood there grappling with my fear and my heart urging me to take action, something inside lit up like a match in the dark. I knew that the world saw me as broken and worthless, yet there I was, inching forward, inflamed by hope, yet burdened by pain. This wasn't just a moment of madness. It was a turning point, a decision to fight against my own narrative of despair. And that's when I decided if I had to risk everything to save that little girl, then maybe, just maybe, I could rewrite my own story. Everything changed the day I walked into the diner. The booth was sticky with syrup, the air thick with the smell of grease, but I was just grateful for the job, scraping plates, pouring coffee, blending into the background. I put my head down, determined to stay invisible, to make rent. Then came that day when I overheard Pete, the manager, barking orders, his voice slicing through the hum of the diner. Maya, he called the disdain dripping from his words like rancid oil. Get back to work. You can't save everyone, all right. But in the pit of my stomach, I knew I couldn't just stand by. I could hear Sophie's scream from the fire laced with desperation that echoed my own past filled with loss. I could feel my heart pulse with a mix of dread and resolve. That's what ignited the fire in me. I yelled back, "What if it was your kid?" His response was a hollow laugh. The customers around us snickered, underestimating my determination like they always had. "You think you're some kind of hero," he scoffed, waving me off. But I wasn't looking for anyone's approval. It was the rage boiling inside that pushed me, a fierce refusal to accept another moment of powerlessness. I pushed past the invisible barriers he and society built around me. Each step was a battle against the physical ache and the ghosts of the past clawing at my heels. I couldn't let Sophie face what I never could, being trapped and helpless. She needed someone. I took a breath, the smoke curling around me, ready to shatter the glass ceiling above my head that said I was nothing. And in that chaos, I wasn't just a bus girl anymore. I was a force of nature, and nothing would stop me from breaking through. You know when you think you've hit rock bottom, there's always a trap door waiting for you somewhere. Just when Maya thought she could breathe easy, bam! The rescue gets her the applause, but the real chaos kicks off after that. Who would have thought saving a kid would land her in a whirlwind of expectations? Suddenly being called a hero felt like a lead weight dragging her back down. The cameras flashing, the reporters shoving microphones in her face. It's not as glamorous as it sounds. Trust me. It's like trying to eat spaghetti with chopsticks while riding a unicycle. So there she was, fresh out of the hospital, and folks were thrilled to give her a pat on the back while wondering what she was going to do next. But the minute Maya opened her mouth about helping others, you could almost hear the collective mumble of doubt. Who's this girl? The bus girl? What does she know about change, really? Because being on the bottom rung of society tends to teach you a thing or two about how messed up things can get. Then came the offers for help Lucas, with his thick wallet and even thicker intentions. "We need to market your story," he said, eyes all sparkly and hopeful. But to Maya, it felt more like he wanted to turn her pain into a fancy ad campaign. She was backpedaling hard, slicking through a minefield of pity and privilege. It was exhausting and honestly kind of hilarious if you think about it. Her trying to be the voice for a community while others were trying to package it like a box of chocolates. Oh, the irony. But amidst her frustration, that flicker of determination ignited again. She'd fought a fire once, right? This time it was the flames of doubt, and she was ready to face them head on. In the sterile quiet of the hospital room, Maya's eyes flutter open. The beeping machines sound like thunder in her ears. They say a hero can emerge from anywhere, but where do you find your own worth when you've been stripped bare? Confusion washes over her, mingled with the taste of ash lingering in her throat. The whispers outside her door grow louder. The busgirl saved her, an act of brave desperation. But who is she really? Just a girl who climbed too high, danced with flames, willing to sacrifice for a child she barely knew. Her heart sinks. All this praise, it feels like a prison. Then a figure steps into view. Lucas Bennett, Sophie's father, tall, poised, and filled with an intensity she can't ignore. His eyes reflect the gratitude of 1,000 lifetimes, yet Maya feels like a mere project. She flinches at the thought. Can someone who has lost so much truly be worthy of this attention? Maya's voice, raw and unsteady, breaks through the air. "I didn't do it for glory. You did it for love," he replies softly. The warmth of those words strikes a chord deep within her. A flicker of doubt gives way to a flicker of hope. She sees it now, the chance not just to accept help, but to ignite change. Beneath the weight of expectation, a fire begins to burn inside her. A spark catching fire. This is not about being rescued. It's about rising, reclaiming her story. She will not be the girl who was swept away. She will be the force that stands against the tide. The tears that once signaled despair now glisten with purpose. Maya William is ready to turn her pain into power. And as darkness gives way to dawn, she whispers, "This is just the beginning." With newfound strength coursing through her, Maya stood at the podium, the bright lights reflecting off her determined expression. The room was packed reporters, bustling cameras clicking, and a palpable energy crackling in the air. Today, she wasn't just a survivor. She was a voice for countless others too often ignored. "I'm not here to be made a hero," she began, her voice steady yet passionate. "I'm here to hold those in power accountable for the lives they overlook." The weight of her scars was ever present, but so was the resolve that had carried her from the ashes. A scroll of headlines flashed in her mind. "Firefighter saves girl," with her name at the center. This was her moment. Afterward, as the clamour quieted, she found Lucas waiting at the exit, his hand extended, warmth emanating from his earnest smile. The handshake was firm, filled with unspoken promises. "Let's change the narrative together," he said, sincerity in his eyes. Maya nodded, feeling the thrum of her pulse in tandem with hope. A powerful partnership forming, built not on charity but mutual respect. As she stepped outside into the crisp air, A subtle smirk crept onto her lips. It was a quiet acknowledgement of all she had fought against and all that had been achieved. She had proven everyone wrong, transforming skepticism into support. But deep within the scars still lingered reminders of the path she had walked. Today marked just the beginning. Success didn't erase the pain, it illuminated the purpose behind it. Each bruise told her story, a testament to her journey, and with each step forward, she vowed to carry others along with her. She wasn't here simply to thrive. She was here to ignite change and uplift those who had yet to find their voice. As the smoke clears and the echoes of that fateful day fade into memory, I find myself reflecting on how power, trust, and revenge weave into the fabric of our lives. Maya Williams' incredible journey was not merely about her act of heroism. It was a grappling match with her past, a redefinition of who she was and who she could become. In a world quick to dismiss the vulnerable, she transformed personal pain into a rallying cry for compassion and change, proving that sometimes the depths of despair can birth the heights of resilience. But with every act of defiance against injustice, the question looms. Does real strength lie in revenge, or is it in the courage to forgive and move forward? Many will argue that vengeance serves as justice for the wronged, while others will advocate for the more nuanced path of healing. What do you think? Is it ever right to seek revenge in our fight for justice, or should we rise above and chart a new course? Maya's story reminds us of the power we all possess to ignite change within ourselves and our communities. In a world that often longs for retribution, let us not shy away from the harder truth. Every act of kindness not only heals the wound, but can rewrite the narrative of generations to come. As you ponder this, I invite you to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your voice could be the catalyst for someone else's transformation. Choose to be the change today.